Welcome to Fake News, the topical quiz show that will never do a deal with the Brexit Party. We're live on Talk Radio, but you can also watch us on Facebook and YouTube right now. Here are the headlines you need to know. Donald Trump called a radio station this week to give his views on Brexit and Boris Johnson. I'll be honest, he tried to call Talk Radio first, but we have a strict policy of not letting nutters on the air. Jeremy Corbyn launched his party's campaign this week with a, some say, unrealistic plan to nationalise the utilities, invest hugely in public services, hand out free beer on Wednesdays and get that Sandra in sales to fancy you. Meanwhile, more Tory defections to the Lib Dems, with Antoinette Sandbach joining Jo Swinson's party. However, the idea that they've become yellow Tories was furiously denied by their chief spokesperson, Norman Tebbit. Let's meet our guests. OK, first up, joining Andre Walker on Team Get Brexit Done, we have the legendary Ash Gould from the James Whale Show on Talk Radio.
The dream team.
And joining Dave Chawner, our own Dave Chawner, on Team Not Another General Election, we have the dangerously well-connected showbiz journalist, Josh Rom. Let's kick off with round one. OK, this round is called Who's News. Each panellist will pick their favourite story from the papers this week, and 100 points goes to the best one. Andre, you're up first. What's caught your eye?
So this is a story from the Daily Mail. Michael Golsorki, who from Stockport and 26 years old, got jiggy with a pile of leaves outside the Premier Inn in Stockport. Now, apparently, he got into trouble with the police because a group of people watching from the Harvester restaurant nearby,
which in itself is a crime,
said his buttocks were writhing up and down and he was only a car's distance away. The children got very upset. Defending him in court, Neville Warburton said he took a cocktail of illicit drugs and alcohol. It's fair to say he got into a right old state.
Yeah.
Andre, thank you so much for that. Brings new meaning to the expression leaf blower. Now, are we still on air? Here's hoping. Asher, what have you got to tell us
Mine
about?
is, the headline is It's Just Nuts, and boxing legend Johnny Nelson, a former cruiserweight champion, has noticed his testicle swells up one of the testicles every time he drinks his morning coffee. He went to the doctor and the doctor said, well, don't drink coffee, which was the cure. And he said, well, he does try and stay away from caffeine now, but every now and then he can't help it. And he said, now and again, if you see me walking and I'm shaking a leg out, then I've had a cup.
Josh, you're a little more upmarket, I know that.
Well, not for this particular round. My headline is Hats Racist. So the University of Sheffield have banned sombreros from fancy dress parties. So with the whole Halloween thing coming up.
Of course.
I've been reading that security guards will challenge students if they turn up to parties wearing a sombrero because it could be considered racist or...
What if they're Mexican?
Well, that's the thing. If they are actually Mexican, they're in their every right to wear it. But the whole thing is, it's cultural appropriation.
Are you saying the people who wear sombreros? I always assumed they were Mexican.
Well, that's
Just
the thing.
on holiday here.
Right, Ash, it's non-Mexican people
didn't know
wearing
that
sombreros.
happened. No,
That's
right.
the issue
But
here.
hang on a second. What that involves is security racially profiling people.
Yeah.
Are you Mexican? No, take it off. Are you Mexican? Yes, keep it on. That also is racist.
That's true.
It also sounds a little inflexible. I mean, what happens if there's a state visit by Justin Trudeau? I mean, what's he supposed to wear? It's going to struggle, isn't it? Josh, excellent work.
Thank you.
Very, very good indeed. Dave Chawner, bringing up the rear with the last and possibly best story.
Well, my best story this week is that McDonald's have gone full partridge. They've decided to call their new dessert Sunday Bloody Sunday. This is in Portugal. They named this after what I think they thought was a U2 song, not realising it was a massacre in 1972 that killed 13 people. Kind of, now we're talking about an inappropriate, that is kind of inappropriate, and also that is exactly what happened in an episode of Alan Partridge Again.
By the way, it's worth pointing out, I mean, we're very rarely serious here at Fake News, but it was a regrettable period in British history, wasn't it? You know, the early years of U2. So I've got a huge dilemma. Who gets the points? I think by a whisker, it's going to be Josh Rom. Well done, sir.
First episode on and I win
They've
that.
only done it
Get
because
in.
it's your first. They're trying to just...
This round is called Fake News. I'll read stories from the papers this week, and our panel must choose if they're true or false. So, Andre and Ash, true or false? Jeremy Corbyn is to give away some parts of England, including Swindon and Bristol, to Wales to win support from Plaid Cymru in the event of a hung parliament.
Well, first of all, handing over Swindon would not be a benefit to Wales or Plaid Cymru. So that's got to be a bad deal.
Yeah, I think that.
It's got to be untrue. It's got to be untrue.
Well, because if you think about it, Jeremy Corbyn is riding roughshod over the union, some would say, with a possible deal with the SNP. If he goes to bed with the SNP after the election, then you're looking at a referendum. We could say bye to Scotland. Could the same thing happen with Wales?
Well, we'll just have a second referendum or a third referendum or a fourth referendum. That'll keep Alistair Campbell happy. He'll be delighted.
OK, so you guys are going false?
False, yeah.
Is the right answer. Well done, it is false. Dave and Josh, here we go. This is your first go at true or false. Café Rouge owners have said that they are considering converting their outlets to the Wimpy brand if Brexit happens, in celebration of traditional patriotic British dining. True or false?
Patriotic British dining being wimpy. I mean, that's the first thing that makes me want to chuck in my passport and think, nah, I'm off. I'm going to France. Café Rouge to wimpy.
Apparently,
it's down marketing massively.
Yeah, hugely.
Well, apparently, so the story goes, the company that owns Café Rouge owns the brand of Wimpy, and there's talk that there'll be so much patriotic fervour in the United Kingdom after Brexit that Wimpy will be flavour of the month.
That is typically British to sort of settle for something worse, but just because it's British. So I can kind of see that as being believable.
You could go to Café Rouge and pick up a bender.
Well, that's always been the case, as you well know. But
The Wimpy sausage is their Big Mac is the bender.
I think this is a little awkward because this is the moment we realise, Josh being a young person, you probably don't know that Wimpy is famous not only for the Bender sausage, but also the fact that the burger is served on an actual plate with knives and forks. That's the Wimpy magic.
I actually am
Seriously?
not.
Yeah, that's one of the big USPs of Wimpy, I believe.
I'm
Jen
also-
Oldman,
There
would you
only
agree?
used to be Wimpy, didn't there? There was no McDonald's. There
And
was
it was
just
knives
Wimpy.
and forks, wasn't
Knives
it?
and forks.
Actually, I'm not too young
crockery
because
like
there is a Wimpy in Boreham Wood, which I have been to, and I have been served a burger on a plate with knives and forks. No, but I think it's going to cost thinking about it from a practical perspective, it's actually going to cost a company a lot of money to just completely redo all of their branches just for the sake of a bit of patriotic furor.
Also, could I point out...
Patriotic furor.
Further? I meant further.
I think you might want to reshoot that.
I think the patriotic furor. I think the patriotic furor is maybe a different period in European history.
He was patriotic to Führer, wasn't he?
No, the funny thing, now that you've got us onto Hitler, and it's always just he loved the Bender himself. All right then, boys, true or false?
Well, I personally think it's false, but I know you think it's true.
I think we're going to go true.
Okay, I can tell you that it is false.
Yes. Told you.
Which is such a disappointment because I love my Wimpy. Andre and Ash, true or false? London's Natural History Museum has been branded sexist for lack of female animal exhibits. True or false?
Well, first of all, I know nothing about this, but secondly, it's got to be true.
Oh,
Because
it'll
there's
be true,
always somebody, whether it be Lee Jasper, whether it be Jermaine Greer, whether it be one of these other woke lunatics who's going to sort of kick off about this. It's got to be true, hasn't it?
I mean, it's true anyway. I mean, look at the male animals. They're normally more colourful. Look at the peacocks and birds. They're always more colourful than
Yes.
males. So, they're going to be more
You
interesting, aren't they?
know, a female spider after making love eats the male. Reminds me of your girlfriend.
Yeah, she did try and...
But you
to try
raise a
and
good
eat
point.
me
Is it
after.
peacocks? Which other animals are the male variety are more?
Ducks, mallards,
Yes,
geese.
they've all got more.
They've all got more
from the
makeup.
men from the northeast as well.
Men from the northeast, very much so.
Newcastle.
Northerners in general.
Sunderland characters. They're
Yeah,
always
yeah.
the shell suit.
They're always preening themselves, whereas the women are quite dowdy, aren't they? Quite a bit grey dressed. Yeah.
I've got 3 words for you. Beauty is pain. That's in a nutshell.
I mean, knowing you has proved that.
My panel.
I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Okay, well, true or false?
It's got to be true. Got to be true.
So animated.
Yes, indeed, it is true. Well done, chaps. Researchers examined exhibits and found male birds outnumbered female birds, and the same happened with mammals. Dr. Natalie Cooper said there's a tendency for people to want to get the largest grizzly bear or animal with the biggest horns.
I've got to
Of course
say,
you do, yeah.
I bet Dr. Natalie Cooper is one of the least fun people you can invite down the pub.
We all like a big horn.
Dave and Josh, true or false? This week, Brexit voters were told not to apply for a job as a producer on Amazon's car show, The Grand Tour. The job ad said Brexit voters need not apply. True or false?
But I thought Jeremy Clarkson was very pro-Brexit.
No, he publicly came out for Remain.
As a man who is Mr. Brexit, what do you think about the idea of anyone that's a Brexiteer losing their job first? If you let Nissan get rid of their plant in Sunderland?
Let's get rid of Nissan. We don't need these foreigners coming here taking our jobs, taking our women. We want to be us on our own. We don't want to. I'm sending it to Brenda from Bristol. Not another one.
I think the day after we leave the EU, we should arrange a sort of the Brexit police, and they should go around and interview all the people who voted for Remain and decide what punishment they should have.
Do you know what? I was really annoyed. I had an argument with Matthew Elliott, who led the Leave campaign, and his campaign was called Vote Leave, Take Back Control. I wanted it to be better out than in, which I think is a great traditional English phrase,
especially after curry,
which resonates with people.
Better out than in is good. It's my life motto, actually.
Come up with a really nice idea, though, that you were talking about being Mr. Brexit, a whole new series of Mr. Men books. Mr. Remainer, Mr. Brexit.
Mr. Hardline, Mr. Moderate, Mr. I respect democracy, Mr. Second referendum,
Mr.
please, because the
People's
first
vote,
one wasn't valid. Yeah,
Mr. Tickle
People's vote.
Traces, Mrs. Me Too.
Okay, well, I'll have to push you guys for an answer. True or false?
I forgot we were here.
I think this is true, actually.
Yeah, we're
to be
true.
honest. I think it's true.
It is true. Well done. Yes, the Amazon car show is a Brexiteer-free zone. Who knew? Andre and Ash, true or false? Iron Brew are introducing a new, even more sugary version of its famous drink. After embracing the sugar tax and changing its recipe, its share price dropped by 30%. So have they gone the other way? True or false?
So I don't believe this. I mean, first of all, remember, Iron Brew is made in Scotland from girders. It's not made from sugar. Look, they did make a less sugary version. It was unpopular, but they're not going to make a more sugary version. They're going to go back to the old recipe, aren't they? So I say this is false because they're going back to the old recipe.
It's like when Coca-Cola, they were going to get sued by the American people for changing it. It's their culture, isn't it, in Scotland?
I'll tell you something that disappoints me about America. Most people would go crazy if you withdrew Coke, but it wouldn't be the drink they were angry about. Only in America is a sugary soda water the thing they're really worried about that's called Coke.
It's very, very true. Okay, what do we think? True or false?
That's false, isn't it? Yeah,
False.
False. Let's take a look. It is true, I'm afraid. Yes, after going woke and almost going broke, Iron Brew have decided to return to the old recipe and adding more sugar into the bargain. Now, Dave and Josh, true or false? Kanye West says God rewarded him this week with a $68 million tax refund for becoming a born-again Christian.
I haven't seen this story doing the rounds. I haven't really been reporting on it that much. And I feel that if this was a true story, this was something that I would have reported on previously.
Yeah.
So I'm going to personally go with false.
I mean, this isn't pop world.
Also, if you're wrong, it's terrible because you're a showbiz chorus. You should
By the
know.
way,
Professionally, it's terrible.
Joshua Rom accused me of being self-obsessed. It can't be true because I've not reported on it. It's the most narcissistic thing
but
I've ever seen since Donald Trump's last speech.
No, what I mean is
Subscribe
that
to his Instagram.
I haven't seen it been doing the rounds that much. That's what I
You
mean.
have seen it doing the rounds a bit.
No, not at all.
I don't believe it's true because I think Kanye believes that he's God. So he couldn't have a
good point.
gift from God. So, no, it's got to be false.
Okay, well, let's take a look. I can tell you that it is true. Yes, Kanye says that God's responsible for his massive tax refund. The truth is he's simply reaping the benefits of a huge tax break given to him by his pal, Donald Trump.
Well, now that makes me embarrassed.
Don't you worry. Now, Andre and Ash, true or false? Commemorative Brexit coins are to be melted down by the Treasury. True or false?
So I think that Philip Hammond ordered the commemorative 50 pence Brexit coins and then just thought it was a bad idea. So I'm sure that's true.
I think it is true, yeah. But I mean, if you've got any of these coins, they'd be worth a few quid, wouldn't they? They did do March of 31st ones, didn't they?
I'll tell you what I'd prefer to do. I'd prefer to melt down Philip Hammond, but if it's the only coins available, then...
Didn't they have on the back of them, it was friendship with nations, which it's like, that's the antithesis of Brexit, yeah, you know what I mean?
Okay, well, true or false, chaps?
It is definitely true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, indeed. Well done. It is true. Philip Hammond ordered 10,000 of those bad boys to be melted down. They will be destroyed and disappear forever. True or false? John Legend and Kelly Clarkson are releasing a cover of the Christmas classic Baby It's Cold Outside, but have changed the words to make them more woke. Now, I can say for those listening and watching, if you're not aware, the subtext of the lyrics of that song are, well, they're a little bit concerning. The idea of the guy's in love with the girl, she's not that keen, then he gives her a special drink. And I will allow listeners and viewers to put the rest together in their heads.
I mean, look, I love that song. It's a great song, but it is a heartwarming tale about Rehypnol.
Yeah,
right?
big time.
And also, if you remember the film Hello by Lionel Richie, it is a film, if you watch the video, it's about stalking a blind woman. It's totally unacceptable.
There's so many songs like that. Like Baby It's Cold Outside could just be summed up as like, hello, get in the van.
If you watch the video to Hello by Lionel Richie, he even prank calls her, follows around the corridor of her school.
It's a bit obsessive, isn't it? It's like, I mean, it's just,
I love that song, you know, if you love pina coladas, and like he puts an ad out to look for someone because he's bored of his wife, and his wife gets in touch with it. Yeah, if that happened in real life, you're not going to go, we're looking for the same thing.
So I think Baby It's Cold Outside is a brilliant song. I think it was superb. I loved it when Tom Jones did it. But,
and Keris sing. I didn't realise it was about, drugging someone's drink.
But Kelly Clarkson, okay, she might be a bit woke, but there is an element of this that is about spiking a drink. I've no doubt they've got rid of that, so it's true.
It's true, yeah.
Okay, I can tell you it is true. The new version of Baby It's Cold Outside will be rewritten for the woke generation. They can maybe eat a Mars bar at the same time.
I wish I had that question.
Okay, well, time is up, which means the scores are as follows. Team Get Brexit Done have 36, while Team Not Another General Election haven't got any points at all, but have received OBEs from the Queen.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we have points.
They're pretty decent.
I'm pretty sure we have points.
Apparently not.
They're great. I want my points.
Point of order. Okay, Uda, taking us into the break. Here is Mr. Chawner with this week's edition of Dazed Download.
So the way I think about politics is I feel the same way about politics as I do about music. I don't really care about the here and the now. I just want the greatest hits in 10 years' time. And when you actually look at the people that are representing us, Jacob Rees-Mogg, a man who thinks that the average price of a pint of milk is 10 shillings, Boris Johnson, a bloke who is so buffling that he makes Stephen Fry look like Ed Sheeran, and a party political system that's so outdated it makes Argos look like it's something new and cutting edge.
Dave Chawner, everyone. We'll see you in 3. Welcome back to Fake News. Lovely to have your company. This is the topical quiz show that cleans your clothes much brighter than other topical shows. As luck would have it, I'm still Mark Dolan, and still here sitting in their ivory towers are Andre Walker, Asher Gould, Dave Chawner and Josh Rom. Now, we're live on Talk Radio, but you can also watch us on Facebook and YouTube right now. Our next round is Headline Deadline. Big stories from the news this week. All our guests have to do is imagine what the missing word might be. Fingers on buzzers. Let's go with the first one. This election is not about what, says Jeremy Corbyn. Dave?
Popularity.
In his case, hopefully not.
Yeah.
But it's not the right answer. Andre?
Anti-Semitic terrorism.
Clever answer, but not quite right. Josh?
I would say it's not about Brexit because he's focusing all the points on the NHS and the typical way that Labour spin an election campaign.
I thought you only knew about Kanye West.
Well, apparently I don't know about Kanye West, actually.
Kanye West and conservatism. Josh Rom has got it all.
We haven't got to the answer just yet. Any other suggestions? Ash?
Keith Vaz's alter ego.
It's not the right answer, but thank you for reminding us about Keith Vaz.
Yeah. Keep it topical.
OK, I'm going to have to give the answer away. This election is not about me, says Jeremy Corbyn. Well, that's his hope anyhow. Boris Johnson has a how many point lead in the opinion polls? Josh?
It is an over 10% lead in the polls.
Over 10%. Can I get a number in particular?
Isn't it something like 14%, is it?
Oh, I have to go higher or lower? Andre?
I was going to say Boris Johnson has a Theresa May-style flaky lead in the opinion poll.
Oh, yes. In other words, you think it's fool's gold. It won't last long.
Well, you never know, you never know.
Because,
Why
of course...
not, though? What,
with-
the
Okay.
Christmas election, you mean?
Well, remember, she was 24% ahead, and she didn't, in the end, win the election. But, of course, look, I'm a political anorak. He was slagging me off for saying I worked for the House of Commons. The answer is, of course, 16.
Well, I thought that the
Not
Conservatives...
quite right.
Oh, get out of it.
Almost there.
Is
Any
it-
other suggestions?
Is it 6%? I think it was 14 and now it's...
No, you need to go up a little bit.
God, this is higher or lower?
It is a
Oh,
bit.
Wait, it's not 16, it's not 14. Is it 15%?
That's high.
No, when you suggested 16 and I went to maybe go a bit higher,
Oh,
I'm
it's-
thinking
it's-
north of
That's
16.
too... He wasn't good at maths. He was never good at
18.
Maybe lower?
17.
That's
It's
it.
the right
Yay.
answer. We
look
got
at
there
that.
in the end, worth
Yes.
waiting for. Although if you're watching this on Netflix, you're allowed to speed it up. I wouldn't blame you. Yes, Boris Johnson has a 17-point lead in the polls for now, for the next 5 minutes. Marc Francois mocks John Bercow's what? Yes, Josh.
Mocks John Bercow's negotiations with ITV to try and get them to pay £1 million to get him to appear on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of
Now,
Here.
we should take this moment. You are the showbiz supremo.
Yes.
Do you think Bercow will go into the jungle?
As it stands, no, because sources have told me that negotiations have broken down because Bercow does want a £1 million appearance fee and ITV aren't willing to pay for
Are
it.
these the same sources that didn't tell you about Kanye West?
No, they're my American sources in the fake news media.
Would it be a mistake for Bercow to go in? I mean, money would be nice, but surely he'd ruin his reputation.
I mean,
He hasn't
listen.
got a reputation.
I mean, listen.
Among Remainers.
Terrible, the reputation.
I mean, listen. Kezia Dugdale did it. It is a possibility.
Okay, Andre.
So, Marc Francois has mocked John Bercow's wife's love of very small men, whilst secretly thinking, that gives me a chance because I'm about 5 foot.
That's a very interesting suggestion. I can confirm Marc Francois has mocked John Bercow's height. So well done.
Nice
You get,
one, nice one,
you get
yeah.
the
Okay,
point.
yeah.
Yes, indeed, he said, from one midget to another, I wish you a long and happy retirement. Next up, Donald Trump says Jeremy Corbyn would be what for the country? Yes, Josh.
Donald Trump says Jeremy Corbyn would be bad for the country. He'd be a huge mistake.
That was the right answer.
Yes!
Well done. I will correct you and say that he would be so bad for the country, but we'll take it. You
Yes.
get the points. According to analysts, who will decide the result of the general election?
Donald Trump.
Well, possibly, he hopes. Ash.
The Russians.
God, both very valid answers, but not quite right. Dave?
Cambridge Analytica? We could keep going with this for quite a while, couldn't
Robert
we?
Mercer.
Any more for any more?
I'm going to do a sensible answer, and I'm going to say Labour leave constituencies.
No, I'm going to go with, and this is not the right answer, but it's something like Worcester Woman or Essex Man.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
Of
you're
course.
right. There was a... Yes.
And we
So let's
remember-
go for Solihull self-employed.
Yes.
Well, you are close. I think enough to get the points. It's Workington Man.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Yes, indeed. That's right. Workington Man will apparently decide the result of the general election. Older white males in Brexit towns like Workington will be key in determining Tory success or failure.
I thought Workington Man was one of those guys, prehistoric men that they dug out and
No,
put
that's
in a display.
Lindo Man.
Oh,
Was I basically right by saying Labour leave constituencies then?
By the
All right.
way, in a
It's
sense,
like-
that's true.
There's no
that
pride.
could be
Sorry,
true.
no, it's not.
no-
I didn't get
Workington
the,
Man.
I didn't get the
no.
term
No, I
right,
think
but I
in a-
got the idea.
I think-
Josh, there's no prize. Stop panicking.
I think
Damn, I want a prize.
I think that was a good point of order. I'm going to share the points equally.
Yes.
Yes,
He
indeed.
knows too much, man.
Okay, time's up, and with that fallacious flow of futile filibustering, here are the final scores. Team Get Brexit Done didn't get enough old ladies to the polling station in time, while Team Not Another General Election have triumphed off the back of tactical voting. They scored 300 points and a thumping majority in the House. Many thanks to all of our wonderful guests who have tested the word entertainment to its very limits. Before we go, I'll leave you with tonight's edition of Walker's Week.
So Jeremy Corbyn, Britain's Albert Steptoe, has finally stepped up to the plate and allowed a general election. But what's going to happen to Keith Vaz, the man, the myth, the legend? Hey, I'll tell you what, he's a party boy, and so are we at Fake News. So we say, give the guy a chance. Also, let's give a chance to John Bercow. You know what Boris Johnson says? He's not going to get in seat in the House of Lords. First speaker in 250 years not to. I say, hey, John, it's an undemocratic nest of Europhiliac fogies. You will fit right in, but you won't be my favourite member of the House of Lords. That title goes to Baroness Strange, or in fact, the Liberal Democrat, Lady Garden. Goodness me, I love when she's on the telly. More next week.
Excellent stuff from Andre Walker. As always, this has been Fake News. We'll see you next Saturday at 10.